Nigeria's energy future remains started in the Niger Delta region, rich in resources but fraught with environmental degradation and political tension. As global oil dynamics shift and domestic demands intensify, the Delta's role in shaping national policies once again under scrutiny. We examine how environmental concerns, local agitation, and federal priorities intersect in the battle for energy security. Well, joining me to discuss this evening is Maobuye Nangi-Obu, is the Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. I also have Lucky Ighoyota, is an energy expert and social commentator. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. All right, let me start. Great. Let me start with you, Mr. Nangi-Obu. Mr. Nangi-Obu, it's great to have you once again. Let's look at energy. I mean, the role of the Niger Delta when it comes to energy in the country. How pivotal would you say that region is for Nigeria's energy security?
If you say pivotal, the Niger Delta is the hub of anything oil and gas, fossil fuel emission and all of that. The Niger Delta is the only, I make bold to say this, it contributes to the mainstay of Nigeria's economy. The Niger Delta is the hub for anything evil, this is where they dump everything, anything called greenhouse gas emission. Now, let me tell you, they are talking about reducing emissions. Nigeria also participated in the COP event. They will still send their troops this year to go. I was there at the COP28 in Dubai, the UAE, where Nigeria is also a signatory to zero emissions. But Nigeria is only there to ask for reparations, meaning you can kill us, but just give us some money for doing all of that. And Tinubu, our president, sent the highest delegation, including himself, to come there. I was there, to also witness the COP event. And Nigeria is just playing to global hypocrisy, signing treaties and Nigeria do not, agree to. Nigeria is a country that still go about doing what they call gas flaring. As we speak here in the Niger Delta, when the gases are being flared, it contributes, it emits what they call chlorofluorocarbons that goes into the atmosphere that depletes the environment that leads to ozone depletion. And that is why the sun is overhead. The year 2023 was the hottest year in the world. And the hottest part of the world was the Niger Delta due to greenhouse gas emissions. And let me also tell you,
you said that the year 2023 was the hottest in the world. Hottest year in the world, and the Niger Delta region was the hottest part of the world that year.
Part in the world as at that year, due to greenhouse gas emission. We're not talking about the northern star. When we say northern star, the northern Nigeria constantly is hot. We're not talking about the heat in the north. We're talking about here that is supposed to be a temperate region here, the Niger Delta. But due to greenhouse gas emission that has been emitted, that produce chlorofluorocarbons that depletes the ozone layer, that causes ozone depletion, also led to, you can see, thank you for playing all of that. So gas flaring happens here in the Niger Delta. These people don't give a heck about us. We don't even have a minister of petroleum who understands how to navigate the space and also talk about. So gas flaring, I just wish we have enough time to really talk about this, because there's a whole lot to talk about. Greenhouse gas emission here, this is the hub for it. There is no reparation. We need cleanup of the Niger Delta, not to only clean up. That's just a facade. That's just one pocket of all of the things that needs to happen here. So people are dying. Let me tell you, there are communities in the Niger Delta that, being under this flare also reduces the production of testosterone, the male reproductive organ, the testosterone that leads to childbirth. You see most of our men that go to the flow station that does 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. This is research, that, but you can find out. I'm not just blabbing. Now, it happens here in the Niger Delta. And
so wait, sorry, because we need to get, I need to get something here. You are saying that because of environmental degradation, particularly gas flaring, you are saying that to a very large extent, that has affected the reproduction or reproductive, will I call it, potency of the men of the Niger Delta?
Being under the flare, if you go to flow stations, one of the things you just showed now, when the conduits, when the wellheads or when the wells are working and the flow station is up, the wells, the gases needs to millions cups of gas. Nigeria has yet to, contain that aspect. The technology, we're just there to sign money, but we've not implemented these technologies to contain gas flaring. Millions and zillions of, millions cups of gas is being emitted daily. And we sniff this gas and we're under the flare. This flare, most of this flare you see, gets to our various communities. Just last week, I visited a place called Cotton Channel with some media men to show you the level of, environmental degradation caused by these IOCs.
All right.
What they do there in the oil and gas company, what they do there is just to steal the oil. They don't even have this thing you see now is what various oil companies now do.
All right, I'll definitely come back to you. I'll come back to you for more analysis on this. But let me bring into the conversation. Of course, Mr. Ighoyota, it's great to have you on the program this evening. Thank you for your time. I know that there's something you made reference to in one of what I call it your analysis. You used the word the energy trilemma. I'd like you to also react, if at all, to some of things Mr. Maobuye has said. But what's your take as regards the position of the Niger Delta when it comes to energy security in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Dio. Good evening, viewers. Now, first of all, before I answer your question, I want to emphasize very strongly that today is a very sad day for energy experts, for those in the petroleum sector, around development coming from Abuja, where the federal government, with the presidency now, is trying to push for an amendment to the Petroleum Industry Act that was signed barely 4 years ago. Now, that act in itself is to address some of the beginning issues around the oil and gas sector. So this already package, the amendment of that particular act is needless, and it's not what industry players like some of them are going to take lightly. So,
okay, sorry, because we are really trying to get what you are saying, Mr. Ighoyota. You are saying that today particularly isn't the best of days for those of you within the energy space because of a particular bill being signed or being pushed by the federal government. Please, I would like you to...
The amendment of the Petroleum Industry Act, the popular TI Act, the Revolutionary Act that is supposed
what specific areas of the amendment is the industry not comfortable with?
Chapter 8 of that act is being planned to be tinkered with, where they are trying to make the NUPRC, the former DPRC, take the role of the NMPC. Ministry of Finance wanting to play governance role and all of that. That is needless. The petroleum governance structure was clearly addressed in that particular act, and it's needless to begin to inject this new arrangement into it. I don't think that will serve the industry's interest, and it's going to encourage investment. It's going to the opaqueness in the industry was what was addressed by the act. So taking us back again to some of those bad days is not good for the industry. So journalists like you, I expect you to keep this issue a burning issue in the coming days, so that the industry people will come and hear their views and address this issue. We don't take our country backward, because the petroleum itself is our main source of revenue for this country.
Okay.
It's not something they should continue to politicize.
All right. So basically, the issue is
answer your question.
Okay, we'll come back to your response. Please hold on. Please hold on, Mr. Ighoyota. We'll come back to your response to the question. We need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your feedback. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. I still have my guest with me. Maobuye Nangi-Obu is the Secretary General for the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. I also have Lucky Ighoyota is an energy expert and social commentator. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Mr. Ighoyota, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to please address some of the issues that you said you wanted to address before we went on that break so that we can proceed.
Obu, the IYC secretary, has given a very solid foundation around degradation in the region. So, talking about energy trilemma that addresses the issue of energy security, energy accessibility and affordability, and environmental sustainability, which is the talking point of your question. You know, energy in itself is an in-depth problem that is facing humanity, and the degradation, the environment, which connects with environmental sustainability, have a strong nexus with the production and the securitization of the energy itself, which is the petroleum that we all like talking about in Nigeria, which is a major energy source in Nigeria. Now, the sustainability effort have not been good enough, if not for recently when the NMPCL 3 years ago came up with the pipeline securitization policy that have been trying to address some of the environmental issues rising from oil theft. You know, while we blame the operators, that is the oil companies, both local and international oil companies, we should also bear in mind that our people, that is some criminal-minded people, are also into bunkering, and that's where the job of PINL and Tantita people have tried to come in and address in the last few years, which is also not enough. You know, the Act also stipulates that communities will be entitled to 3% stake of oil company operational expenditures for a particular period, that if there are infractions in those assets, that the host communities will also bear those costs. So it's a two-way thing. So when Obu is also speaking for our environment, it should also bear in mind that our people are also not isolated from some of these challenges. So we've got to, all hands have got to be on deck so that we should be able to attain environmental sustainability.
All right, Mr. Ighoyota, I'll come back to you on this. Let me come back to you, Mr. Nangi-Obu. I mean, you did highlight a couple of issues, when you were making, of course, your opening remarks. You talked about greenhouse gases, you highlighted the problem of gas flaring, and you also talked about oil theft and even cleanup. So I'd like you to speak as regards efforts in addressing these issues. We know that, for instance, as regards oil theft, the government has worked closely with the private sector to ensure this is nipped in the bud. Even though some success has been recorded, there are still cases too that are happening. So I'd like you to speak from an angle of what you consider, you know, with specifics, a permanent solution to many of these issues.
Okay, so therefore, I'm on ground, and I will tell you for free, and I'm going to speak facts and figures here. I thank you, Mr. Lucky, for your insights, but I beg to differ a bit. That settler-settlee arrangement, as arranged by the former Minister of Petroleum, who unfortunately is our brother, Femi Silva, that where they arrived at 3% for local or for the locals. Now, let me tell you, it's a trap. It's like a carrot and stick model where the federal government agreed that if there's any third-party interference, it will also affect the production and it will also affect whatever you get as host community. Now, let me tell you, since 1938, when Shell started, its exploitation, despoliation, and exploration. I use my words: exploitation, despoliation, and exploration of oil and gas over 80 years or so. Some of these materials that you find within, are not due to anything, but due to age of materials. You begin to find a lot of oil spills here and there, apart from third-party interference. But let me tell you this, there are more military gunboats, more guns by the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, aided by the Nigerian government in our waters in the Niger Delta than even the oil that is being produced. All the federal government is interested in is the oil. And let me tell you, that's why they brought in megadis, what we call megadis, those who are gatekeepers that want to do, security contracts here and there. I'm not against the people, the owners of those contracts, but that's not what we want. Now, let me also go again. There is a company, just last week, I visited a place called Cotton Channel in Rivers State. What they do there is oil theft. The companies that work there, the company that steals the crude there is called Red Star. Please listen. Red Star Company steals the crude there, and they do what they call oil theft, but they call it barging. Barging, there's nothing like barging in petroleum engineering. Barging is, when they just take the oil from the flow station, move it to, a shuttle vessel, then they have a dump vessel somewhere, which they call the FSO, in the deep waters by the Atlantic. So they move from one vessel, move the creek to the other vessel. Now, on a normal day, there's what they call the Nimbe Creek Trunk Line, the NCTL. These companies have refused to revive the Nimbe Creek Trunk Line that will empower our people. So what they are doing now, they take the oil directly from the wellhead through their barge, what they call the shuttle vessel, and move it to the, the bigger vessel where they sell, which is an export terminal. There is no metering system, what they call the LACT unit, where a LACT unit is a metering system where you know what you have produced for the day and the number of production. So that's why even when NNPC and any other body say Nigeria is producing 1.something million and all that, I laugh. Because it is the government that have aided these companies to steal the oil. Our people don't steal the oil. And let me also tell you what
you are saying the government is also complicit in oil theft. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Complicit. You're using English, bro, that more. The government is stealing through the back door using companies, IOCs, and local companies. I'm giving you facts and figures. I was there. I don't know why the station that I use for this interview have not, aired it. I said a place called Cotton Channel in Rivers State. I was there. I visited all the communities. We don't have jobs. Our people, the communities houses close to 20 to 30,000 persons of Calabari extraction and other people that live and do business there. None of our people were employed. All of the people were shipped from Lagos and any other place down to that place in our territorial waters. They have you can flag Cotton Channel, and the company that does this freighting of crude, through the shuttle vessels, is called Red Star. Sometimes they use obsolete materials that when they bunker the crude, the thing goes bad and it starts spilling across our waters, and they say our people are doing bunkering. I'm not saying there are no persons within our areas that would do. How much of this crude will our people steal? What compared to what the government aids this company to steal? That is one. Bringing Tantita and pipeline infrastructure and all of that, well, it's an intervention for the government alone, not for the people. Because where we seated, see, this is just to enrich some sort of person. It's my people that are the ones managing.
You've said quite a number of things. You've said quite a number of things. Of course, Maobuye. But let me just leave you for a moment, because I also know that in your analysis you also made reference to some things that Ms. Lucky has said. So, Lucky, the floor is yours. Would you like to respond quickly, and maybe what you consider a solution to some of these issues?
Okay, thank you. Now, that Cotton Channel, Obu have been mentioning. I've been there. I think I was there sometimes in March this year. I went to those Calabari axes. I was around Bile. I was around main Sagama, those axes. Yes, there's high level of deplorable condition of the environment. And he talked about Nimbe Creek trunk line, the LACT system, the lack of metering. I understand the federal government have people, surveyors that are doing pre-shipment and all those stuff around those things, except probably, I don't know what I'm talking about. Talk is very cheap. Look, who destroyed the Nimbe Creek trunk line? Is it the federal government that destroyed it? Who tampered with it? Now, if the companies have refused or have not been able to fix it, and they are doing barging, probably because if they fix, these guys are going to break that pipe. So I'm not holding brief for the companies, but what I'm trying to say that is a stakeholder thing. Everybody is a stakeholder. There must be a collaborative effort to these things. You understand? Trying to downplay some of the efforts being made by government and industry players is not good enough. Fine, as a pressure group, as a youth people, it's understandable that you must speak for your people. But in doing so, as professionals, we don't think that way. We talk professionally as a person. I understand all of the concerns is really more so as someone from the Niger Delta. As I share and sympathize with his thoughts, but that is not to say we should exclude the role that the Niger Delta people are also playing in these whole gamut of environmental issues.
All right, in 30 seconds.
The solutions, will remain that everybody should be guided. The federal government should be guided by not also using the Niger Delta for business. Just like they're trying to do with the PI Act right now. They should try to depoliticize and try to do less of their racketeering of things in this country so that we can move forward as a people.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Maobuye, 30 seconds. What you consider a solution?
Well, like I said, I also still beg to differ with what my brother has said. The federal government's intervention is for the federal government. They have not done anything to better the lots of money within the Niger Delta where they get their contributions from. Who broke all of the pipelines of the Niger Delta, the Nimbe Creek trunk line that I mentioned? Nobody have that fact because you could say our people did that, but have they been caught? Are they apprehended? Nobody can say that because those things were blown up. You say, okay, our people did it. We were not surveillance to it. And that's why the model the federal government have deployed right now is what they call the carrot and stick. They have yam, so they gave it to the goats to hold the yam for them. And so they've given the yam to the goats, which is what you see as a so-called contract of PINL and Tantita. Now, long story. What I'm trying to say, for me, the solution is they should not call the Niger Delta people as though we don't understand what is happening. That if anything happens. Now, let me also tell you the 3% they give to us, is it from CAPEX or OPEX? How do we know your daily production when we're not part of your daily operational model, like what happens in your flow station? It is what you have produced from what you have produced that we will know that you're giving us 3%. So how are you paying us these monies? But, the NUPRC and the rest of them come together to do a lot. Forget about who is professional and no professional. We're talking about, in reality, our people are not employed. These companies have just brought in a lot of people. Nobody is employed. There are no schools, no cottage hospitals, nothing is happening, no electricity, no potable water. And these companies are operating within our system. All right. And every day they fleet crude in our presence, move it to the deep waters and export this crude. And nothing is happening. And I used Cotton Channel just recently as a model. And this happens across Ijaw land, across the Niger Delta, even in Robo land, in Isoko land, and everywhere in the Niger Delta. So the government of Nigeria needs to do proper environmental remediation, environmental cleanup of the Niger Delta. Our lands, just look at, let me conclude with this. Just yesterday, last 2 years ago, NNPC said they went into business, they collected $3 billion from Afrexim Bank to pay back in crude. NNPC can only produce nothing, no more than 400,000 barrels of crude. Yes, NPDC, now NEPL, is the highest producer from the NNPC stream of production. NAPIMS can only give about 50,000 barrels of crude. The rest are from the IOCs and all of that. How many years would they deplete the Niger Delta environment to be able to pay back Afrexim Bank for $3 billion that they produced? How much was crude when they took that loan? It's about $71. How much are they paying back? How many years will it take, or months will it take NNPC to deplete our environment? This was the reason why they enforce or reinforce the security contractors to come in and begin to kill our people unnecessarily.
Maobuye
Nangi. The thing Delta people needs environmental cleanup of the entire Niger Delta.
Right.
Even the Ogoni High Prep project failure.
All right,
so
thank you so much.
Environmental cleanup.
Thank you so much, but we really need to go. Thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate your time. Maobuye Nangi-Obu is the Secretary General for the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. And also, Lucky Ighoyota is an energy expert and also social commentator. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time.